Welcome aboard. I am Sailor Joe, and this is Salty Cinema Sunday. And this week, I'm very excited to cover Zack Snyder's Justice League. After 4 long years of petitions and tweets and even billboards, we finally have the definitive version that Zack Snyder set out to make back in 2016. We will be discussing spoilers, so if you have not seen this yet, please stop this video, go watch it right now, and then meet us back here so that we can talk about it. Go ahead. We'll wait.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
All right, everybody back? Okay, so let's get into it. So the very first thing I feel I need to point out is that this is not a director's cut. You think, oh, I want to add a few things that got cut out of my movie, or I want to make it longer than the theatrical run. Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, the Ultimate Edition that ran 3 hours and 30 minutes, that was a director's cut. This is a completely different film. I mean, the basic through line of the story, the plot, it's pretty much the same, but that's it. Everything else from top to bottom is almost completely different. The nearest comparison I could draw would be the troubled production of Superman 2. Richard Donner was fired halfway through and replaced with Richard Lester. Richard Lester proceeded to refilm more than 50% of the movie so that he could get a director credit, and he padded it out with a bunch of silly bullshit. It took over 25 years, but we eventually did get Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut. He took out all the dumb crap that Richard Lester had added and replaced it with stuff he had previously filmed. But unfortunately, Warner didn't really give him any extra money, so a lot of the scenes that he added back in were screen tests or audition footage, and it does look unfinished. That is certainly not the case here, with Warner investing $70 million to bring this vision to life. I'll go over some of the major differences, and there are quite a few. I've also already done a review of the 2017 Justice League. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. But right off the bat, the first 90 seconds of the film, they recap the end of BVS, where we see Superman dying, and his last death scream echoing out throughout, all over the planet, all over the galaxy. That is what ends up waking up the mother boxes. And we'll talk more about the mother boxes later. But already we've set up the whole plot. Now we know why Steppenwolf is coming to Earth. We know why Darkseid wants Steppenwolf to retrieve those boxes and how they found them. It was because they realized the Kryptonian protector had just been killed. So now the mother boxes woke up. They had been dormant for thousands of years. That right there sets up the entire plot in 90 seconds. Much better than it did in 2017 when we really had no idea why Steppenwolf was there. And also, not only does that set up the plot for this movie, but it instantly makes the ending of Batman vs. Superman make more sense and have more impact. In 90 seconds, it automatically improved 2 films. It also explains Lex Luthor's cryptic quote at the end of BVS, where he said, "The bell has been rung, and God is dead." Okay, now we know what that means. The bell has been rung. That scream going out, waking up the mother boxes reaching out and signaling to Steppenwolf and Darkseid. Okay, now that makes sense. And speaking of Steppenwolf, and I touched on this in the trailer review, he gets a much better design here. We still get that scene in London where Wonder Woman rescues that class of young girls from the terrorists, except this time it's just cooler. The takes linger a little longer, the action is cut better, and we learn that Wonder Woman straight up bodies these fools. I'm not kidding. Which some people might have a problem with. I really don't. I mean, she's a 5,000-year-old Amazon warrior, and you just brought a bomb into the middle of the city and pointed automatic weapons at children. Yeah, dude, she's not going to lay you down for a nap. Then we get one of many baffling edits that the 2017 version made. We get a little girl who asks Wonder Woman if she can be like her when she grows up. Wonder Woman kneels down and tells her she can be whatever she wants. It's an amazing scene. It makes Wonder Woman seem more heroic. It humanizes her. And if you're trying to save runtime on your movie, those 4 or 5 seconds are what you choose to cut. It makes no sense. Speaking of heroic, the battle on Themyscira when Steppenwolf shows up to take their mother box plays out a lot better than it did in 2017. They put up a fight. These women are fierce, and you get the feeling that had they had a couple more minutes or a couple more warriors, they would have taken his ass. I mean, this plays out like female 300. It's amazing, and that makes sense considering that Zack Snyder also directed 300. But I mean, they really do take it to him, and he gets out of there just in the nick of time. Another character who has done a huge disservice in the 2017 Joss Whedon version is Cyborg, Ray Fisher's Cyborg. I mean, now we finally get some backstory. We get to see what it was like for him to basically be killed in an automobile wreck along with his mother and have his father, Silas, who's also really fleshed out, bring him back using a mother box. I mean, his journey, feeling like a monster, feeling like he's just a robot, has no humanity, and getting to see what everything he lost and what he was. And I have no idea why you trimmed that out. We get another great Diana, Wonder Woman scene. After the battle with Steppenwolf, her mom, Queen Hippolyta, had launched a flaming arrow into this temple as a signal to her. She finds the arrow and then goes all Lara Croft Tomb Raider, starts exploring. She comes across a mural that explains the ancient battle with Darkseid and the mother boxes, so we get to learn it alongside of her, as opposed to the 2017 version where she just showed up in the Batcave, gave us a big exposition dump, and we couldn't understand how or why she knew it and hadn't said anything. And we get an awesome flashback to that ancient battle. We see the old gods, Zeus, Ares, Artemis. They're joining up with the armies of Atlantis, the Amazons, and the tribes of men to fight Darkseid, or as they called him, Euxis. I also think we see a Green Lantern there in the background, and I believe that's Yalen Sir. Yeah, he was the Green Lantern for Earth thousands of years ago, so it adds up. I'm glad they changed his design. Yeah, dude's weird looking. Anyway, it's a really cool flashback scene. We get to see most of the battle. Interestingly, Ares, who was the villain in the Wonder Woman standalone movie, which took place during World War I, he's actually kind of the hero on this day. He's the one who breaks through and drops a battle axe into Darkseid's shoulder, kind of saving Earth. It's also cool to see Zeus pull a Hadouken! Hadouken! Another character who gets a much better treatment in this cut of the film is Aquaman, Arthur Curry. Everything from his meeting with Bruce Wayne in the Icelandic village to the way that the villagers regard him as regal, as a savior. Even the walk down the pier where he goes back into the ocean, instead of the white stripes, now it's a much softer, more regal song. All of this is making the character seem more dignified. I mean, this is a perfect setup for his standalone movie. They bring back Willem Dafoe as Volko, his mentor and teacher. He's the one who encourages him to take his mother's trident. In the original cut, he just showed up with it one day. There was no explanation whatsoever. The only weird thing is that now Amber Heard's Mira has a British accent for some reason, but whatever. And since I mentioned music, now's as good a time as any to bring up the score by Junkie XL. It is fantastic. All the musical choices are pretty fantastic, and that's a staple of Zack Snyder movies. Whether you love him or hate him, doesn't matter what you think of his films, his soundtracks are always on point, and this is no exception. Danny Elfman did the best that he could back in 2017, and I love the little reprises of his Batman theme from 1989, but it just doesn't fit this movie. The Junkie XL score is perfect for this film. So not only is this a far superior movie to the one that was released in 2017, but it's also elevated the two movies on either side of it. It makes the ending of BVS more impactful, carry more weight, more consequence, and it's a better jumping off point for the Aquaman solo movie. Another character who gets a huge help in this cut is Barry Allen, the Flash. In Whedon's cut in 2017, he was a jokey little kid. He was a coward. Batman had to give him a pep talk to get him to rescue anybody. In this movie, he's a stone-cold hero. We watch him rescue future love interest Iris West from a flipping car in a really cool scene where right when he goes to accelerate, his tennis shoes disintegrate. Pretty cool. Runs right through a window. Awesome. There's also more time spent on him visiting his father in prison, and less time of him pranking somebody in the waiting room using his super speed to draw a silly face on them. What are you thinking, Whedon? Oh, right. I'm asking a guy who thought shit like this was funny. And let's not forget a Joss Whedon classic. Barry falls onto Diana's breasts. Oh, man. I'm glad he's canceled, dude. You know, with all the time spent on that, we could have had that scene with Diana and the kid back. We could have had more of Cyborg's backstory and his relationship with his father. I wonder why you wouldn't want to do that. Oh, yeah, that's right. You're terrible. Another character who was done no favors by the 2017 cut was Amy Adams as Lois Lane. In this movie, she's still in grieving for Clark Kent. She goes to his memorial every day and has a cup of coffee with her favorite cop, who, by the way, turns out to be played by the same actor who played Jimmy Olsen in the Chris Reeves Superman movies. So that's fun. The reason it's important that she have a daily routine to go to the memorial is because it actually gives her character some agency. There is a reason that she'd be there when Clark is resurrected. And it's not just because Batman sent Alfred to pick her up because she's the big guns and he wants to use her to manipulate Clark. There's also a scene between Martha Kent and Lois Lane at Lois's apartment. It's a nice, quiet, touching scene. So in 2017, of course, it was replaced with this scene that takes place at the Daily Planet in a break room and includes a thirsty joke. Get it? Thirsty? Like horny? Oh, Joss! Oh, Joss! You're a fucking child. I will admit the power of that scene was undercut a little when it's revealed that it was actually not Martha. It was John Johns, the Martian Manhunter, who is a shapeshifter and has actually been hanging around since Man of Steel as General Swanwick.
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. What?
Speaking of the Man of Steel, the scene where the team is in the Batcave and they decide to resurrect Superman is so much better in this version. They don't bicker about it. It's just a decision they come to as a team. After Cyborg explains his backstory and how his father used a mother box to bring him back from death, they come to the logical conclusion that since Superman's death is what woke up the boxes, resurrecting him might be the only thing to destroy them. Even this is handled better than it was in 2017. When Flash and Cyborg are exhuming Clark Kent's casket, they don't make any weird little fist bump jokes. They both agree that they could do it at super speed, but that they want to show Superman the reverence and respect that he deserves. That scene plays out very similar to the 2017 version, except, again, better. There's more of a lead up as they get to Star Labs. Cyborg has more to do. He's interfacing with the Kryptonian ship. The Kryptonian ship is telling him, this is not a good idea. They decide to go ahead, obviously. There's also a great Flash moment here again. Instead of touching the box as soon as it hits the fluid, he has to rewind time by just a few seconds in order to time it perfectly. And that, of course, foreshadows the finale. The fight at the memorial goes down about the same as it did in the 2017 version, but it does seem like they use better takes or better line delivery. The team tries to jog his memory to no avail. By the way, don't call him Kal-El. He's gone by Clark for like 35 years. And again, as we discussed, Lois shows up and jogs his memory. Clark and Lois go to the Kent farm, and again, it's just a better version. There's extended takes, there's dialogue that was left on the cutting room floor, and Martha Kent shows up, and it's a great moment. Clark heads back to the Kryptonian ship to grab his black suit, which in the comics is explained as a regenerative suit. It absorbs sunlight better so he can heal faster. But the real takeaway from this scene is as he's walking through the Kryptonian ship, we're getting voiceover from both of his dads, his Kryptonian father, Jor-El, and his Earth father, Jonathan Kent. And it makes for a really, really touching moment. And again, Junkie XL coming in with that Man of Steel score. Meanwhile, back at Star Labs, there's another great character moment that was cut for some reason where Silas Stone, Cyborg's father, sacrifices himself in order to superheat the mother box so that when Steppenwolf takes it, the team can track it. And track it they do. The final battle plays out pretty similarly to the old version, except the sky is not color corrected into that weird red color, and they actually feel like a team. All of their actions are clear. You understand what they're doing. They take turns saving each other from danger. finally feels earned. Superman shows up to save Cyborg from taking an axe to the back while he's trying to work on the mother boxes and starts to beat the hell out of Steppenwolf, going so far as to heat vision off one of his horns. Unfortunately, it's too little too late. Cyborg cannot stop the mother boxes from forming the Unity, which is game over. Except for the fact that the Flash, the guy who was relegated to stupid little jokes like this in the last one, where he only saved one family in a pickup truck, well, this time he saves the whole damn world. He runs faster than the speed of light, reversing time, grabs onto Cyborg just in time to give him enough charge to pull the boxes apart. Then the whole team goes ham on Steppenwolf. Aquaman gets him through the back with his mother's trident. Superman flies into him and punches him back towards the boom tube to send him back to Apocalypse and his boss Darkseid, but not before Wonder Woman gets a good swing at his neck and takes off his damn head. Then they get a cool little gunslinger moment where they're looking at Darkseid through the boom tube, and he's looking back at them, probably not too happy with him. He even says they're going to try to do it the old way, which I guess means another invasion. We get this really cool shot of the entire team assembled after the battle. After that, we get a couple scenes that are similar from the previous version. Here's where Bruce bought the bank to keep the Kent farm out of foreclosure. Barry gets to go to the prison and tell his dad the good news that he got a job with the crime lab. It seems like Diana is trying to relocate Themyscira, probably to see her mother. And we get a scene with Alfred, Bruce, and Diana in Wayne Manor, planning out the Hall of Justice. And a classic Superman uniform reveal. There are a couple post-credit style sequences here. We have Lex Luthor meeting with Deathstroke on Lex's yacht. This was meant to set up a solo Ben Affleck Batman movie, which has since been scrapped. But the most important is the Nightmare sequence, which is a potential post-apocalyptic future in which Lois Lane died, Superman went nuts, and now works for Darkseid. We see that Batman has been joined by Cyborg, who's upgraded his armament quite a bit. We also see the Flash wearing the armor that we first saw him wearing in the premonition sequence from Batman vs. Superman, when he appeared to Bruce Wayne in a dream to warn him about this very thing. Mira is there as well. Apparently she is going to avenge the death of Arthur Curry at the hands of Darkseid. And we see Deathstroke has joined them as well. So it'd be interesting to see how that solo Batman movie would have turned out. But the big reveal, of course, is the return of Jared Leto's Joker, looking much better than he did in Suicide Squad. And there's an interesting little dialogue sequence between him and Batman. They're actually pretty rude to each other, which I guess you should expect. Bruce wakes up from that premonition back at his lake house just to find out that he has a visitor in Martian Manhunter, who tells him that he's been on Earth for quite some time, he's happy to see the heroes come together, and would like to be part of the team. The movie ends on this heartbreaking dedication to Zack Snyder's daughter Autumn, who tragically took her own life. If you or anyone you know are having suicidal thoughts, please do not hesitate to call or text. Help is available. So that was Zack Snyder's Justice League, a massive improvement over the 2017 theatrical cut, the Whedon cut, the Justice League. Honestly, if this was Zack Snyder's full vision, I don't think it ever would have been released in theaters as a 4-hour movie. They probably would have tried to either edit it down to 2.5, 3 hours, which we would have lost a lot, but there's a little fat that could have been trimmed in there, or they would have tried to whack it into 2 movies, in which case the first one probably wouldn't have been very fulfilling. So I'm glad it actually happened this way. He got to make exactly what he wanted. It's 4 hours. He broke it into 6 chapters. You can sit down and consume it all exactly as he intended. And again, massive, massive improvement over Justice League. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'm interested to see if you'd seen the 2017. Are you ever going to go back and watch it again? Are you ever going to sit down for another 4 hours to watch this? Let me know your thoughts. Well, as always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, comment, share, all of that, and you are dismissed.